Right, hello everybody. So, welcome back again. So last time we were working on. Sorry, let me just mute that. We were working on the prefab system, and some good news. Basically, we got it there. It was pretty much there when I had it open on stream, but thankfully, just a bit after, I took some time off to have a bit of a break, a bit of a refresh. I came back to it. Some minor improvements mean that it's fixed. It did have a weird bug initially, but that's also been removed now, and I'll show you exactly what it can do. So I capture that area and then paste. You see I've managed to capture voxels and prefabs. So what we'll be doing today is expanding on this functionality. I'll be testing the toggles that I started implementing before, making sure they're actually working, because I don't actually know. But yeah, so this is all really good news. One feature that we need to kind of implement is multiple file saves. So that's quite a challenge in and of itself. I basically need to do some research on how to deal with multiple text files in C++. I think I've done it before, but it would have been some time ago, and it's not likely I would have done a lot of work on that, so we shall see. I also ideally want to get this highlighting box fixed, because I know that it is not entirely accurate at the moment. I might rewrite the code for that to try and get it working how it should. What's nice about this system that we've developed so far is it actually preserves all of the object states for stuff that, like say props for example, that I've put in this in, and also materials as well. So when you're copying these prefabs, you're not just copying the base spawn code, you're not just saying spawn this object in, it actually gives it its rotation. Eventually I'll expand upon it to have any properties that it might have. So that might include things like the object's stats. And I think I'll wrap that functionality up into like a nice function at some point, just to kind of make it a bit easier to maintain. And I'll centralize any saving and loading code for props and voxels, I think, if it becomes necessary. If not, if it's only these 3 points of interest which I've got currently, which are the voxel saving and loading, the prop saving and loading, and prefab saving and loading, I might be able to get away with maintaining it in separate streams. Like, it might not be worth, doing a refactor on that. But so far, still working. So like I say, we need to investigate multiple saves and also test existing features. So I'm just going to open up Jira, as I always do. Let's get it up here. There we go. So, as you can see, a lot has changed on the Jira board in the last 24 hours. So, in terms of tasks that are being done, me and Josh have been holding meetings in the morning, make sure that we're both on track. So, I've been doing a lot of bits here and there on the live stream. Josh has been doing work. I want to make that clear. He's not just not been doing anything. However, he's not done tasks that have been on the Jira board as of yet, because it's not been appropriate for him to do that. But now, because we're having the meetings, we've kind of tried to line up our workflows a little bit. He's now making progress on that. Also, I moved some stuff off of the prepared stage because of changes with deadlines and stuff with, say, with Insomnia Games Festival. So Insomnia Games Festival obviously was cancelled due to the coronavirus, so we've had to readjust some of that stuff. So what I need to just quickly do, this won't take me long, since I've already got the stuff I need here, I'm just going to quickly reprioritize my tasks a little bit, and try and shuffle some tasks out of this box, which I know I've reduced the cap on since. So this wasn't actually hitting the limit before, but I've reduced the cap so that we can kind of maintain a more focused workflow. And I need to kind of start reprioritizing tasks so that we can get the board to a more kind of acceptable state, really. So again, today we need to be working on multiple saves and testing the features that we've already implemented. I also want to double check whether or not this works in I want to double check if this mode works in any mode currently, so I don't think I set up the states for that properly. I will double check that. So let's play it again. So let's capture, see if it captures. Does it paste? Yeah, it does. So what we need to do is we need to set that mode up. It's just a little toggle. I'll go back to the Jira board in a second. It's just this is something that needs doing. It's something that's easy as well. So I'll just do it very quickly. I think I'll just wrap these in an if. So if it equals 2, so that's the prefab mode. Obviously then we want to dump all of this code inside of it. Up to here. Put that up, tab that in, just redo that bracket just in case there's any formatting issues. And that should be okay. Do the same for the loading as well. We obviously don't want it to be something that can be used at any time. What was it called? Editor mode, sorry, not editor state. Let's just literally just used it. There we go. Shift that all inside of there, tab that in, we're all good to go I think. Let's just do the redo the curly brace, fix any formatting issues. There we go. So let's recompile that. I'm actually quite excited that the prefab system is coming along because it's coming along faster than I thought it would. There's a lot of features that I thought would take a bit longer to implement. The base implementation I thought would take longer to implement as well, but I actually managed to get it done in a day, so that's extremely positive. It reduces some of the anxiety I had around kind of missing our initial deadlines with the prop system, not the prefab system, because obviously we had to take time off due to illness and everything, which I've written about in blogs and spoken about before. And also going into lockdown as well, it kind of took a toll on me and Josh. It was hard to motivate ourselves to work. Like when you can't go outside, it's kind of, and you're not accountable to anyone, it's hard to kind of sit down and really force yourself to work. So me and my girlfriend, we've just kind of been relaxing a bit, taking it easy, kind of like an unplanned holiday. Because I got ill and then he wasn't feeling great, so thankfully it wasn't coronavirus though. So wait for that. I believe that's all fine. We'll come back to that in a second and test it. So let's have a look. So I believe I prepared this, so I'm actually going to move this back into prepared. I also want to set up some tasks for Josh because I know that he particularly needs some work to do. If I can get the prefab system done relatively quickly, or at least some of the base features, it means I can work on other stuff as well. So things like the prefab systems code that I was originally planning to do, which is getting some of the finer details worked out for their own internal state machines, and also data relating to the actions that each object can take and have taken upon it. So that code is something that I'm going to revisit at some point and try and plan out a bit better. AI controller stuff, that's fine. Prefab UI exposure, that's probably something I need to do, so I'll move that into prepared. I'll change that in a second. That's something Josh needs to do at a later date. Player controller website. See. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do with props actually that needs doing. There's one other feature that I believe needed Josh to work on, but I didn't set that up. In Editor UI. So okay, so this actually should have been moved across a long time ago. This is actually what Josh is working on at the moment. So what I will do, I'll bring this back into prepared for now, and I'm going to drag this across to here, but obviously I need to fill in the stuff for this. It's already set up here. This is high priority, something that needs to happen. Don't know how long it will take. I'll leave time estimation to Josh. It's not really fair for me to comment on how long his work will take, so I genuinely have no idea. And source is... I've already got source, visibility, public. Joshua Matthews. Due date. I'm going to say some of the shared elements. He's been working on them this week, so I will say Sunday for that. That's reasonable. Right, let's close that out. He's got something to do there. Need to fill this in. Save that again. Signing this to myself. So this is a private one. This is not something that is like a kind of noticeable feature. Due date I will set again for the end of this week on my part. I believe it's medium priority. I can't remember the exact priority rules for anything lower than high and highest, but medium for now. I will prepare prefab placement as well, that's also quite important. Let's add some more child issues to this, so we've got the We've got the air overwrite toggle. That's the thing where air overwrites any existing voxels in the scene. We've got the prop overwrite toggle. So this is whether or not you want basically you want props that are already in the scene to be removed when placing a prefab over the top of it. since you can have multiple prefabs occupying the same spaces. We also have, I think, what else? There's a few other toggles as well. Oh, there's the what would I call it? The prefab polling mode indicator. There we go. I'm going to link this issue to what have we got so far? So this was blocked by voxel prop culling. Due date. This is kind of something that's a bit further out, so not the end of this week, but I think the end of next week is reasonable. This is a high priority item. This is minimum viable product. Came from developers. And I want this to be public. Josh, there we go, close that out. We've got these three systems which will be worked on at some point. Well, untick these. Let's see if there's anything in fact, I'll have these all selected. There we go. One thing I have just noticed is I'm going to make this blocked by something else instead. What was it called? Adjustable storage, because that is actually the thing that's blocking it. It's not what I have it currently set as. I even think I set it initially. There we go. In total, we've got kind of 14 things that are kind of under these sprints. I don't know how many of them will get done during this time, because that means realistically doing a feature a day, which is intense. Obviously that's split over the two of us though. Still quite a hard target to hit. Move this into prepared. Not really sure what I should be working on first, to be honest. I'm sure tasks will pop up as we go along. For the physics system, I'm actually going to work on at some point, but I am going to revert over to using standard objects for that. So rather than trying to use static meshes, which I have used before, sorry, instant static meshes specifically, which I've been trying to use up to this point, I'm going to use regular meshes because I don't believe instant static meshes work. From all of the research and all the attempts that I've made at trying to get that to work, nothing's worked so far, so I'm just going to give up on that, go for the less performant route. It might be the only route to take, as it turns out, so we shall see. There's also the action system and the statistics entity and portal system. So statistics and entity inventory are something that are quite important at this point. So these are just kind of containers for objects that entities might have. If I do embark on those though, it does mean using these as well. So yes, this leads into the AI work, so I'll leave that until a little later, although they are already prepared. Yeah, why not? I'll add these over just because they're already kind of prepared. And then obviously as we filter these out, these tasks down here, I'll be able to add the rest of these in eventually. So let's obviously reset the dates on these. The action prerequisite system, I'm going to set the date as the end of the month because other stuff probably will take priority on that. Oh, that was the wrong month, noticed. I changed it to pretty much the same date, I think. There we go. Deadline is ended today for this to get working, so we'll carry on cracking on with that in a bit. Hate it when it doesn't. Yep, specifically press enter, which is weird. Right. Great, so that's pretty much all I can do for now. We are 4 away from refining this down to the point that I'm happy with, which is good. I think what this will do as well is it will kind of limit how many things we can have in there, so it will limit it to what I would kind of think of as sprints. So obviously each of the epics that we're working on, it's kind of its own contained thing, or at least it should be. So when we're approving tasks, we in theory should have done all of the previous epics that are blocking it, so that kind of limited scope will make things a bit easier for us to manage and kind of plan ahead a little bit more. So now that we're done with that, we've done a lot of Jira work today. Apologies for the time that we've taken on that. But now we can actually jump back into the code. So I've obviously done this quick change. Let's just double check it's compiled quickly. I'm just going to put some music on for myself. Don't tend to listen to the live stream music anymore, it gets a bit. Okay, so let's play it. Just check that it doesn't work. Is that compiled? Okay, that seems to be better. One thing I've never actually tested is if it crashes if there's nothing in the file. I guess it could do. No, it won't actually do anything, so it won't even run the for loop, so yeah, that's fine, it's all protected. Great. Trying to think what to do first. Yeah, let's test these toggles, I suppose, and make sure the toggles themselves are working. If only I could remember the keys for them actually. Let's open the project settings up so it has all of our editor controls in it. Here we go. We've got toggle prefab mode, I guess that's the first thing I should really test. So that's G. This will determine whether or not we are placing both voxels and props or just one or the other. So if we go into the correct mode, we capture that. Press P, that's fine. We press, what is it, G, and we place it again. Just voxels. Place G one more time. Just props. G again. Okay. Yeah, that's all working, that's great. So that's one thing off of the list. Air culling, that's important. So H for air culling. Now in theory this will overwrite any blocks that are in the way, which I believe it did. Yeah, great. Turn that off for now. Awesome. I need to optimize the smoothing algorithms, it seems to be very slow. prop overwrite mode, I. If I press the I key, have I broken it? Oh, wait, there we go. Now that still should have placed... Okay, so that's the one thing I need to have a look at quickly. Maybe there's a chance I didn't actually capture any props initially. Let's try that again, I think that should work. Let's press I. Yeah, something wrong with that. So let's have a deep dive on what's going on there. There's nothing up here that stops the things from saving, which is good. Maybe something to do with prefab mode. Prefab overwrite mode that I'm interested in. We're getting all the props in each voxel location. We're deleting them. That's wrong, I think. Oh no, it's not. Prop IDs. Should be fine. This is unusual. I guess if I comment this out and then just see if anything else is preventing them from spawning in. Obviously this will break the functionality of what it's supposed to do, but it will give us a clue maybe as to if it's the problem code or not. I'm not convinced that's recompiled properly. Try again. So it's the delete function. Let's investigate what's happening in this function, just see if we can get any more clues. Nothing there that would indicate any issues. That's not called anywhere else. Really strange. That is really weird. Like, really weird. Okay, let's have like a kind of mental refresh. So we're looping through each position. I know what it is. Right, so what we're actually doing is, because we're going up layer by layer and we're finding props based on the voxel location, we're not checking if that's the actual origin of the object, so we've put that check in elsewhere. So we've put it in here, this if statement. We need to see if this is actually the origin of the object or not, basically. So for instances where objects have multiple heights, it will go through layer by layer, delete it at the bottom, try and spawn it in that same place, and then it'll go up the next layer and then see it's there again, but because it's not the origin that's been saved, it won't replace it. There we go. So similar problem to what we had before. I should probably have a function actually in the editor, in the prop editor, called find prop origins based on voxel position. I think that would be a helpful function. But I mean, we've done it now. If the problem comes up again in the future, I might refactor. So go back into the mode, we'll capture that. That works fine. Let's go into I mode, let's place again. Yep, that's working exactly how I intended it to. Okay. And we can combine all kinds of weird things, so we can use the other mode. What key was it? Was it G? So that changes what mode we're in, I think. Yeah, H is air mode. Cool. So yeah, you can get real messy real quick with some of this stuff. Cool, so that's all working. Glad I tested that actually, because last thing I want is to send it off to Josh and nothing works how it's supposed to. So that is everything tested on that front. So now what we need to do is investigate multiple files in C++. So I'll bring over the research tab. I think it's just too complicated. C++. Files. Okay, so this looks like the way to do it. This is not something I've used before, so this will probably take a bit of wrapping my head around. I'm sure it's relatively simple, but let's go with this approach. So, first of all, I'll set up the code to handle it. I need a selection variable, which will be the thing that we have currently selected. We can obviously change this code once the UI is implemented to be able to select the number, the ID of the prefab that we want to select, but for now we'll just have it between 1 and 9 like we do with the brush selection. So we'll kind of hijack that same code and use it for a slightly different purpose. There we go, current prefab. Okay, so let's hook it into the input system. So now we have a selection code for selecting what number we want to use. Right, I'm starting to zone out a bit now, you can probably tell. My energy to program and comment on stuff only lasts for like an hour and a half at the moment. If that. I mean, it's been, what, 30 minutes? I think it's because it's hit 3 o'clock. Tends to be when my energy levels dip. So let's go back up to the, here we go. In fact, yeah. So I've hit that part of the day again where I kind of can't really concentrate. So between 2 and 3, that's about where I call it off. I know I started late today, so this has only been a short live stream. What I will do instead is I will come back later today. So this will be a separate video on the YouTube channel, and I'll do all of this file stuff later now that it's set up. So I'll keep this open on my computer. Have a quick break, have some food, some coffee or something like that, and then I'll come back. So thanks for watching this quick video. Sorry the end was a bit boring and pointless, but you know, it is what it is. I will see you later on. See you later.